in your time in the restaurant business now, how many menu items do you think you've taken off the menu?
Fucking 25 years, probably hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of JBL Bites. I'm JBL, John Brantley. This is Hudson Austin, wine guy, former restaurant owner, and we're here to tell you the shit that other owners don't want to say out loud, the trials, the tribulations, pulling back the curtains on the shit that is needed to survive in this business.
All the mistakes that you probably don't want to make because we already did.
Yes. And today we're talking about menus.
That's right.
Menu.
So, you see out there, different restaurants and whatnot. Why do you think restaurant menus keep ballooning up the choices? Like you go to places, they keep adding more appetizers, adding more entrees. It seems like restaurant menus are becoming like epic.
Bibles, books.
Yeah.
Long. I think people are panicking. The economy is tough. The inflation is tough. The competition is extremely difficult right now. So people panic. And it's one of the worst things that, you can do in this business is panic. And so you start making changes. We talked about it in another episode where you panic and start, changing decor, or you panic and start, adding or omitting wines or cocktails, or you panic and you start going outside of what,
made your restaurant your
restaurant is. And, it's just, it's human nature. You start having a couple slow days and the first instinct is what's wrong, and you listen to customers,
Right.
Opinions are like assholes.
Right.
Everybody fucking has one.
It's a little bit like the tail wagging the dog.
You're going to get a lot of them. It's just, that's the nature of the beast. It's filtering out the noise that, is difficult.
Do you think there's not, obviously maybe not enough of that going on? Like just everybody's willing to put these, there's big, massive menus together, almost like they're just trying to please every single person who could walk in the door.
Well, I think right now you're seeing a balance of both. You're seeing people that are downsizing their menus, like me. I just downsized my bar. I just downsized my main menu. You're seeing people that are adding immensely, like we talked about. And then we're seeing people, and I kind of fell into this category where you're emotionally attached to items and you're afraid to omit, remove, because you may upset that one customer, and but at the end of the day, it's analytics. Like I can't stress that enough.
Well, what do you think? Is there's got to be maybe some corollary, and you could speak to this certainly in today's market more than I can. What's the corollary between having a bigger menu and operational challenges versus having a smaller menu and having the ability to have still that guest satisfaction where they come in the door and find something they want to have?
Well, everything. You're taxing your staff. You're taxing your kitchen. You're taxing.
So this is with a bigger
you're
menu.
Taxing, like you start running more risk. Yes, with a bigger menu. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Okay.
I guess I was a little dumb on the question, but
It's my fault. I'm a terrible question asker.
No, that's no, I'm dumb. That's just. But so it's taxing. So 25 years I've been open. I've always had a somewhat large menu. In my opinion, large menu. But then I look at other American Italian places. I look at other corporate places. And the fucking menus are massive.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how are they executing that? How are they putting that out? Well, they're not. It's, either, the stuff
Crazy amount of cross-utilization.
Well, I don't mind cross-utilization, but again, it's
cross-utilization is important.
It's the same thing. If you over cross-utilize, you're better off just doing the one or two items really well. Why run the risk of jeopardy? And that's something I've only just recently learned. So for example, I remember years ago, I was down in Florida. I was on vacation, and I had met up with a couple guys.
Wait a minute. We're in the restaurant universe here. You took a vacation?
It's that one lucky time. 13 fucking years ago.
Be honest.
It was,
So for everybody
it was,
to get an idea out there,
it's,
when we say vacation, the restaurant business was like 3 days away.
yes, that's exactly what it was. It's fucking 3 days in Florida.
Rest of you think of vacations 2 weeks. This isn't that.
And I'm pretty sure it was a destination wedding. So
Yeah.
I didn't. It wasn't even like a.
I went to a wedding
I'm gonna
and
batch
managed
this
to take
all
an extra
together.
day.
Yes, yeah. But I was down in Florida, and I had met these guys out by the pool, and we were sitting there talking. They owned. I think it was they were up in the Jersey area, and they were talking about the restaurant business and this and that. And the guy's like, "Well, you sell a lot of chicken, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, I mean, I sell chicken." I was like, at the time I was probably maybe 2 10-pound cases of chicken, a week, or I don't even think I was doing that. I think I was actually doing like 2 10-pound cases of like airline breasts. Because we're back in the 90s now,
Sure.
or 90s
Early
now,
2000s,
early
yeah.
2000s, and that was the kind of food that we were doing at that time, and so they're like, like 200 pounds of chicken, and I'm like, wow, I can't even imagine that. And now this guy they had pizza places, so it was a little different, the comparison. And I'm like, it's kind of a different comparison. He goes, nah. He said chicken. If you're not selling 100 plus pounds of chicken a week, he goes, you're not going to make money. He said chicken. That's all he kept telling me. I said, we're different. Nah, chicken. And it just resonated with me. It was very funny at the fucking time. But, now, X amount of years later, I'm selling 200 pounds of fucking chicken a week. And it's like, so I had this section on my menu. We're very well known for our chicken cutlets. We had a section, chicken cutlets.
Right.
And you could get it as a chicken bolognese, a chicken parm, a crab chicken, this chicken, chicken vodka, chicken. We had like 8 different ways to get chicken cutlets. And everybody's ordering, everybody's ordering chicken cutlet, chicken cutlet. It's like, fucking, I'm like, genius. So I start diving into a little bit on the Chat GPT, and then we use Toast as our POS system. Toast, feel free to throw me some fucking money for the mention, but their analytics are pretty decent. Their AI is pretty decent. And so I started using a combination of those to start analyzing the menu, the sales, the COGS all together. And it started coming back to me with, why do you have 8 chickens on your menu? Get rid of that section. You're causing menu fatigue. I'm like, the fuck am I causing menu fatigue? Like, if I take that section, I'm getting rid of 8 fucking items on a menu that, for me, I think is large, but I get complaints like, well, your menu's not big enough. And it started telling me that it's not that your menu is not big enough. Your menu doesn't read well with the items that you have, and you're causing fatigue. So then people get confused and they just order blah, 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 because they're looking very quickly, and it's not laid out correctly.
It's like middle left corner.
So now my emotion is attached. I'm like, well, lemon crab chicken, I mean, we get a much higher profit on that, and everybody's buying that, and they're not going to be happy. You're telling me to take it off based on my analytics.
Right.
And they're like, wow, you need 2 chicken items. And I'm like, well, why do I only need, 2 chicken items? Like, and it says to me, this is legitimately what it says to me. It goes, ask yourself a question. Does that crab chicken slow down your kitchen? Is it more difficult to turn out? And is there a high probability that if you're super busy, it won't be done the same every time? And the answer was yes.
Right.
And so that's where you're taking that emotion out, and you're just doing raw analytics. So we redid the entire menu, and we eliminated probably 20%. And there was items that I had on there for years. I'm like, if I get rid of this, fucking Jimmy's going to fucking never come into my restaurant again. Like, he always gets the bolognese. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I kind of trusted the process, and we redid the menu. It is the most positive response in the last 6 to 8 months I have ever had on a menu in 25 years.
Wow.
And it's I'm going to say probably a little over 20% smaller.
Wow.
And it was a lot. It was weeks and weeks of designing, sending it into the AIs, having them send me back ideas on it, going back and forth.
Back and forth.
A little bit of kind of hesitation on my part. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, we're really, eliminating a lot of stuff. And so we ended up going with 3 chickens, right? So we did our chicken parm, which is, American chicken parm. Everybody loves it.
You haven't had our chicken parm here, by the way. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you.
It's chicken. I mean,
It's
I
pretty fucking
appreciate
good.
that, but
Pretty
yeah,
fucking good.
It's fucking chicken parm. And then we have the chicken bolognese.
Right. Another great dish.
So now you have your kind of
Right.
hot version, your room temperature version, and then of course we just have honey vodka all day long, which has add-ons to it, right? So it has add crab, add chicken,
Right.
and this. So we just marketed on the menu a chicken cutlet penny vodka, and so it's just penny vodka with a chicken cutlet on the side. So all we did was help you to make the let me help
Let
you
me
to
help
help
you.
me
Yeah,
to
yeah.
help me,
Right, right.
like to make that decision, and that has now become the #1 selling entree.
No kidding.
And before, people weren't getting it at all.
Right.
Now, like, this is fucking genius. I'm like, it was right on the menu. Like, it was a choice. So it made me eliminate some things that were possibly holding back my kitchen. And I guess the point to all of this that I'm trying to make is that the productivity of the kitchen, the making sure that you have the items that are the most popular. If you've already opened your restaurant, you're already running your restaurant, your menu is out there,
Right.
you have the analytics. They're already there. You just have to listen to them and not be scared to make those eliminations. But now I'm still selling my 200 pounds of chicken, right?
Just condensed into a smaller
Everybody
number of
seems to
dishes.
be happy. And now I'm controlling the narrative.
Right.
And then you train your staff how they control the narrative at the table.
Was there one thing that was the genesis for wanting to pull your menu back?
Well, the economy, inflation, and it started with my bar. And it just started with me simply going into ChatGPT and saying, hey, are bars trending towards eliminating some of the stock and keeping less liquors on the shelf? I was just curious.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's not saving me a ton of money.
Right.
All right.
Probably saving you some labor, but it's increasing the ability for the staff to put the dishes out.
Well, so now this is liquor. We're
Maybe
talking
a
about.
little. Oh, right.
Liquor.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
talking about
So
liquor.
just the liquor side. Right.
So now you think about it. Everyone's gonna buy a drink. Is gonna buy a drink. Is gonna buy a drink. Right. So you're going through the same amount of liquor. Right. So it's not a
They're going to buy
cost
something.
cut measure.
Right.
This is not going to, well, I don't need to have XYZ on the shelf. Now, XYZ is costing you money, right? Sitting on the shelf or whatever. If it's not selling, that's money
It's
spent.
still holding
It's a
inventory.
waste.
Yeah.
It's holding inventory. But it was more my weekly ordering, right? So now I'm ordering 5 vodkas, I'm ordering 5 gins, and so I started thinking to myself, I'm like, well, do I have to have all of these vodkas? Do I need to have, a stateside vodka, this vodka, that vodka? Do I need a Belvedere as well? Like, I'm a vodka drinker. And I'm like, if I go somewhere, I want a Grey Goose.
Yep.
If they don't have a Grey Goose, I'm going to grab another fucking vodka.
Right.
I don't need to.
Yeah, you're not turning around and leaving.
I don't need to have 6 choices. I'm still gonna get it. Now, if you have a regular that, hey, listen, all I drink is Bombay, and can you keep a bottle for me? You keep a bottle for them.
Right.
If they're coming in all the time, not a problem.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But the vast majority of people, they're going to find, if you keep the ones that are most popular based on your sales, the other people will find something. And you just get so scared to eliminate things because you're afraid somebody's not going to come back. It's not true. They're going to. And what happens is now your ordering is easier, right? Now your bar, because you never want your bartenders or your kitchen guys thinking. You want them on an automated process. So, because they're mechanics. The moment they have to stop and think, it slows the process down, and it is the possibility of a mistake. So, if your predominant gin is Blue Coat and your predominant vodka is Tito's and your predominant tequila is Espolòn, and that's across the board, right? You've put 3 good choices that the vast majority, 90% of the people are just going to stay with that.
Those, right.
So now you're printing a menu with call prices. So you're automatically getting a call. Your server now doesn't have to push it at the table, right? Your bartenders are mechanics. They're just doing the same thing, right? Because now you're training your staff. You're saying, don't call that. And by call, if you're not familiar, somebody orders a vodka and club, or orders a martini, and you're just like, well, what vodka? What? Right? So it's another step at the POS system. It's another step at the table, and it's a slowed down thought process for your bartender. But if you're just going, Tito's is what it is. I got a cocktail. It's got blue cheese olive. It's got this. It's got 30. It's got Tito's. It's a reputable thing. You're not asking for the call. You've already got the price increase.
So it's
You've
already
got
built
it. It's going to go. It's better, right? So that's one advantage. The second advantage is you start pushing. Like for example, Espolòn as your tequila. You start buying everything is inventory by the state, then by the,
Right.
you know,
Sure.
maybe you sell wine,
Yeah.
but you start pushing that tequila over and over and over again. You start moving product. They're coming and saying, hey, what can we do? Can we print menus for you to keep our product in place? Can we send you a salesperson in to give out free stuff? Can we make, you know, posters for your, like whatever it is, there's compensation depending on whatever state you're in. There's, you know, we're in PA, a lot
more rules.
Yeah, a lot more rules, but you know, in other areas you can get a lot more.
Yeah.
And so that was where it started. And then I was like, well,
Apply the same
why
logic
would
to the
not
menu.
apply to my kitchen? And it was the same thing. And it started asking me the question, does this slow your kitchen down? How many do you sell? And it was enough. It wasn't like we weren't selling it.
Right.
But versus the others, and then versus the cross-utilization and versus similarity in dishes, they're like, get rid of it.
Right.
And so now my kitchen is like fucking fire. Like it fucking comes out. It actually, I have to ask them to slow down. I'm like, guys, like,
Right. So that's been the
give
biggest.
people a minute to breathe. Like, so now it's a new step of training with my servers. Like, watch on your fires.
Pace yourself.
Take it easy. Don't, you know, like, we don't need people in and out in 45 minutes. Like, you know,
You're
what I
not
mean?
a diner.
You know what I mean? I want them in and out, you know, relatively quickly to turn the tables, but I also want them to have a great experience and not be
Well,
you know,
and
food
also
jammed down the
exactly, and because oftentimes too the longer that they spend at the table versus it, you know, you don't want campers per se, but the longer they spend at the table, the more likely it is they're going to spend additional money too on this thing or that thing, or oh, could we get a this or whatever. So you know, you've done this and it's been successful. Any failures from that? Any things where you're like,
Well, I don't want to say
done that
I don't
one.
want to say failures, but so now what happens is you've gone from this, right? You've put all that, and you know, ChatGPT kind of learns your profile.
Sure.
And starts, or like I said, I use the Toast AI as well, and I have another one that I use. So they're all building a profile on you, right? So now we've made these changes, right? So now 30 days in, this is my
plug
sales.
the info back, right? Okay.
This is where my sales are. How are we looking? Oh, better than I expected. Or across your multiple locations, this item seems to be a problem if you want to have it work across everything, or there's no balance here. Or, you know, we're noticing you're not selling a lot of salads. I think we need to make an adjustment. It's summertime, there should be salads. You know what I mean? And then you kind of implement, well, what if I did seasonal specials? Where does that go? And so it's a building process.
Right. So maybe versus...
And it's ever changing because, you know, the market
Right.
is
It evolves.
ever changing.
Constantly evolves.
I think you need to have a balanced, rooted menu, a base.
Right.
People
work
like
from.
consistency.
Right.
I would always change, add items. I mean, I've added, you asked me earlier, you know, how many menus I got? Hundreds of menus. I mean, there's a time I'm trying something Asian. I'm trying to put tacos for Taco Tuesday. There's a lot of desperation moves that restaurant owners make because the business isn't there or they're worried or, like I said,
just abject concern. Right. Yeah.
So you have to get to a point where you have a formula that works. You have crowd pleasers, you have that base, and you know to never change those. You know, I was originally taught seasonal menu, seasonal menu, seasonal menu.
Right.
We all kind of
were.
Yeah. I mean, so you know, in 2000, I was changing my menu every 3 months, a complete restructure of the menu. That was the way things worked. And it was this unpredictability, and people liked it then. But as things evolved, we touched base before the start of corporate restaurants.
Right.
Corporate restaurants got away from that.
Yeah.
Corporate restaurants gave you structure. You know, you're going out on your date night. You're going out with your family,
Here are these
with your
dishes
kids.
you can count on.
Like, you know, I'm going to go get a blooming onion. I'm going to go get a, you know, whatever, the Sunday or
Whatever
this
it
thing,
is.
whatever it is that your kids like or whatever. You know that's there. You're excited about it. You go out for it. You know, whatever. And so it's really important now for the small businesses, you know, to emulate, but find your, you know, niche that works. And then you have your seasonal items. Like if you go to, like, say, a Bonefish, you know, they have a very structured menu for years at a time, but they have lots of specials, you know what I mean? And by lots of specials, I don't mean a lot of dishes. They're running different specials all the time.
Yeah.
And they're running seasonal things all the time. And so you can do that as a section on your menu, or you can do that as your specials.
Right. Yeah. And I'm so, you know, this is sort of a little a side question, but I'll ask you because, you know, again, we've both been doing this a really long time. Are you more a believer in having the service staff verbalize menu items that are additions, or giving guests a separate, here's a list of our additions? I never call them specials because everything on the menu is special, John. These are additions
we don't
to the
call
menu,
them specials.
right?
What we say is especially for tonight.
Oh, especially. Oh, I like that.
Especially
That's
for
good.
tonight
I like
is
that.
what
I
it
like
says-
that.
what it
That's
says
good.
on our-
That's good
So
verbiage.
it kind of denotes specials.
Yeah.
And,
No, but I like that verbiage. I've always. Yeah, I like that.
So that's a real slippery slope that you're
Right?
going down.
It
Now,
is.
if you are in the market where you have professional servers, right, and there's not a lot of that anymore, but if you have that, right, so they're able to tell the specials correctly. They're able to do it in a way that gets somebody excited. They're actors. They're, again, navigating the table.
Theater.
These young kids don't quite have that, but let's just say they do have it. Okay, so now they're verbaling the specials. The problem is they then leave the table. People are in conversation, people whatever, they forget the specials. How many times have you gone somewhere where somebody
Could
says
you
the
tell me
specials?
those again?
You tell me that again. You're
All the time.
wasting time.
Right.
Wasting time. So this is how I handle it. We do a sheet. Okay, we have a wine, we have a cocktail, right, and then some seasonal items, and we call it especially for tonight.
Like 3 or 4, right?
And we run it now. I just did mine for the summer, so for the next 2 months, that's it every night. So everybody's very familiar with it. They know how to talk about it. They know how to sell it. They know how to do whatever. But what I do is both on my menu and on that special sheet, I have a du jour, del giorno, du jour, of the day, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay. And what that does is it forces the server to bring attention
Engage with the table.
They're engaging and they're bringing attention to it. But then when they walk away, there's a reminder of what they were. I can go back and relook at it.
Right. And the guests that are sitting at the table only had to hear their server tell them
Nobody
one
wants to fucking
thing.
drone on. It's like telling me your name. I really don't care about your fucking name. It drives me nuts when a server says, "Hi, I'm Jenna. I'll be your server for tonight." Like, I don't need to know your name.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's not rude. It's just not like, we're not going to be hanging out. I'm not going to see you somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? And if I come in and with regularity and you're my server all the time, I'll ask you. I'll look at the slip. I'll find out. Like, it just doesn't need to be part of your
There are lots of ways to figure that out.
That's just a nitpick thing on my part. But I mean, it's just
No,
like,
I agree with that to some extent.
yeah. And so people are going to listen to that and be like, either be like, team douchebag, he's a douchebag, it's a terrible thing. Or they're going to be like, yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. Every time somebody tells me their name, I'm going to be like, don't do that. So it's
It does work both ways with that. Well, so why do you, given that you've spent so much time doing all the menu analytics and, trying to not downsize your menu or increase the size of your menu, but right size your menu for your locations, how do you view the menu beyond just as a way to get guests to know what it is that you're serving, but as a tool to operate the day-to-day business of the restaurant? I mean, is it like a stove where you just like turn it on and there it goes? Or
no,
how do you view that?
It's just ever changing. So it's, if you want to equate it to a piece of equipment, it needs maintenance. It needs to be taken care of. And every so often, it needs to be replaced. So you're not going to have that same one for all the time. Like, 3 years in, it might be like, okay, we got to freshen this up a little bit. We got to change out shake it up. Doesn't mean you got to revamp the whole thing.
Right.
Shake it up. You know what I mean? You have a 6-burner oven in your kitchen. You're not getting rid of the 6-burner oven and putting in a flat top. Unless that's something that's a major change. You're putting in another, newer, fresh-looking 6-burner oven. So it's the same thing. And then during the whole time, while that 6-burner oven is going, you're maintaining it and keeping going. This isn't selling. This has kind of died down. This doesn't work anymore. This is holding up my kitchen. Now we're getting busier. That's the other thing. Your business starts growing. You got to make changes. It's like, hey, you know what? We're really struggling. I've got 4 of the 6 dishes up for this table, and it's always because this one item is dragging. And it's like, and it's bringing everything down. It's bringing the timing down. It's letting stuff sit. It's, it's messing everything up. It's like, hey, we either have to kind of rethink how we're doing this. We have to rethink getting rid of it. We have to rethink of a replacement, like whatever it is. But that would be part of the maintenance, kind of ongoing with the menu. So that was a good question. That was a tough one.
It was a tough question.
I had a little pause on that one for a second. It was
so let's add to that.
You're stressing me out
now that you've
you're really throwing some tough ones.
Now that you've spent all this time doing these things and you're really thinking about it, how often are you now looking at your menu and seeing what it is that you need to do to change, enhance, and whatnot.
Obsessive compulsive me? How often am I looking
Okay.
at it? Like, I'm stressing from this podcast. I haven't ever looked at it since we were sitting there. What are you talking about? I mean, so you can't make yourself nuts. You need at least 30 days before you relook at it.
Okay.
So once you have the balls to say, this is what I'm going with, and you've printed it and put it out there. And that's the other thing, too. You know, what kind of printing are you doing? If you have very expensive menus, you got to be more careful. Now you're looking at 90 days.
Sure.
Like, so you got to make sure, like, hey, this is 90 days before we can reprint these.
Right.
If you're someone who's saying, hey, I have menu boards, and, you know, we print our own. So it's easy for me to make a change. So I'm every 30 days. Every 30 days, I'm putting in the analytics.
Right.
Now,
so every 30 days you're looking at it, but not necessarily making changes, but you're looking at it.
I'm looking at
seriously
it,
every
and then
30.
I'm saying, okay, what can we change? Do we need to change? Do we not need to change?
Right.
And then I would say quarterly is where you really need to. That's where you
drill down.
Well, now you're changing season. You kind of have, that's 90 days of analytics where you're like, all right, you can see the trends.
You can see a trend in a pattern.
And it'll tell you, should I keep all this? Should I, you know, and it'll come back and say, you should eliminate this. And that's where it takes the emotion out of it, because you're like, I don't know about that. People seem to like that. And like, that's why I was scared. And to be honest with you, nobody's really said a fucking word about the things that I was worried about taking off.
Right.
They've just found something else. And more that they found something else, they're now able to read the menu and
discover new items.
Exactly.
Right, because they didn't just go to the 3 things that were maybe their favorites.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask a sort of a funny just question. What would be the one menu item that if the analytics came back and said you had to take something off, what would be the one item that you would go, fuck you, I'm not listening to this thing anymore? Would there be an item that if it like told you,
Well,
like,
I mean,
it spit back at you and said you need to take this
like,
off?
So like if it came back to me and said, penny vodka, it's a perfect word. Penny vodka is a, you know, boring dish,
Right.
and it's not, you know, it doesn't fit your menu style. I say, fuck you.
There you
I
go.
said,
So
oh,
that's
that's
the
my
one.
fucking money maker. Like, I
That's the one.
fucking said that thing like
Right.
all day fucking long. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, so yes, I mean, there is things, and to play devil's advocate to that, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. I would
Wait,
say,
one more question after we wrap it up.
all right, if he were to come back to me and say, what menu item would you be excited to take off? It would be our muscle bake. Like that's
Oh, 'cause it's a lot of work,
fucking,
right?
everybody loves it, but it's a fucking albatross.
lot of work,
Oh,
yeah.
it's awful. It's all. But if I got rid
good.
of it, it would be an uproar.
Right,
It would be,
it's good. It's a lot of work though.
Yeah.
All right, so one last thing, and then we'll wrap it up. If you walked into a restaurant and they have a gigantic like 10-page menu, what would be the one thing you would tell them to do?
Fucking get rid of everything. Somebody fucking I mean, unless they're so fucking busy, you know, I'm like, then I would be fucking like, I gotta relook at my menu. But I mean, if it's sitting there and it's like, you know, I can tell you, I'm gonna go into a place like that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna order a Caesar salad. I'm gonna order a burger. I'm gonna order the most arbitrary thing, because nothing that's gonna be written and sounds well will ever be executed properly. Yeah, it's like going to a fucking Cheesecake Factory. Like it's
I was gonna keep their name out of my mouth.
I don't
but,
give a fuck
but I-
about
but I-
them.
but
They're
I was
fucking
gonna say
making
is,
millions. So
you know,
like,
let's go to every
I'm nobody to that.
go to
Who cares?
every you know New York diner, and you know, because that's like a thing. You know, you go to those old school New York diners and you open up the menu and it's like page after page after page.
I don't have
after
the
page.
attention span for it. I don't. So I go to diner, I got this. I'm like, I'm gonna take 2 eggs, 2 eggs,
I'll have-
bacon, sausage,
right.
and rye toast.
Right,
Like, you know what I mean?
it's the my cousin Vinny line.
Yeah.
I'll have the breakfast.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. It's just, you know, I can't do it. But like, I'm not going to say that it doesn't work for some places. Like, you know, the Cheesecake Factory's packed. I mean,
Right.
you know, people like it. They love those giant menus. But I'll bet you there's a shit ton of cross utilization in there. And I'm willing to bet any amount of money. 20% is what is ordered. The 20% of that menu is their key items that are ordered over and over and over and over.
And
and over
80% is every
it's
now
just
and
filler.
then.
It's just there.
Yeah.
And so my point is, hey, they can afford that, but
Right.
can you? You know what I mean?
That's the
Can
question.
you? I feel like I haven't looked at the cameras at all. I've been looking at you. I've been staring into your eyes. Your questions
my
have really been
beautiful eyes,
this
John.
fucking format of questions, and I don't know what's coming at me. It's stressful. I'm sweating. I'm like, I don't think I looked at the camera.
Schwitzing.
Yes.
You're schwitzing.
Hello, everybody. I don't think I looked at anybody. All right, that's it. We got to wrap it up.
We gotta get
And
outta
we're
here.
Past our 30 minutes. I like to keep it short and sweet is not what I keep anything. But as you know, The hardest time isn't the beginning. The hardest time is all the time in this business. Until the next time, share, like, comment,
Subscribe.
subscribe. That's your line. You do very well with that every time because I never fucking get it. Cheers.
Cheers.